All right, let's get right into it. We are diving deep into a world of unbelievable power, of dark, dark secrets, and a web of influence that honestly stretches across the entire globe. We're talking about the Epstein Files. And what's coming out? It's even more disturbing than you can imagine. But, to really understand the network, you've got to start at the center. You have to understand the spider's lair.
So it all starts right here. We're on East 71st Street in Manhattan. This isn't just any building, it's the single largest private home in the entire city. Think about that. A place valued at over $50 million. But get this, it was officially acquired for a transfer price of zero. Zilch. Nada. So yeah, this was never just a home. It was a stage.
And the moment you'd walk up to it, you'd realize something was off. The house was literally watching you. The entrance was covered with dozens of fake eyes. I mean, can you imagine? What a bizarre, totally unsettling welcome mat for some of the most powerful people on the planet. And once you got inside, it didn't get any less strange. You'd find a taxidermy tiger in the office, a sculpture of a bride just hanging from a rope in the hall. It's like every single detail was put there to be unnerving, a perfect reflection of the man who lived inside. So who lived in this house of horrors? The man at the very center of this whole global scandal was Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted offender who, somehow, just somehow, managed to have presidents, princes, and billionaires on speed dial. Okay, so what was really happening inside this house? I'll tell you, it was way more than just a place for fancy parties. The things he had on display, the photos on the walls, they all tell a story of incredible access and, frankly, some deeply, deeply unsettling tastes. For example, sitting on a shelf, a first edition copy of Lolita. Yeah, that infamous novel about abusing a young girl. The walls were just covered in photos of Epstein standing next to the global elite. We're talking popes, presidents, you name it. And right next to them, a framed $1 bill signed by Bill Gates. It's like every single item was a trophy, a symbol of who he knew and what he could do. And this leads us to the biggest question of all, right? How did this guy, a known criminal, hold so much power over these incredibly influential people? Well, the theory that's come together from victim testimony and police raids, it points to one thing: a very sophisticated blackmail operation. Listen to this. This first-hand account from one of the victims, Maria Farmer, it's chilling. She talked about a media room in the mansion filled with monitors playing live feeds from hidden cameras. Her exact words to describe what she saw on the screens: toilet, toilet, bed, bed. Absolutely nothing was private. So here's how the alleged operation worked, broken down into 4 steps. It's a system, really. Step 1, you lure the powerful guests to his properties, the mansion or his private island. Step 2, you secretly record everything with hidden cameras in the bedrooms, the bathrooms, everywhere. Step 3, the FBI raids found a hidden safe, and guess what was inside? Meticulously labeled CDs and hard drives. And finally, Step 4, you use all that recorded material for leverage. It was, for all intents and purposes, a machine built to turn secrets into pure power. And this so-called blackmail machine, well, it allegedly allowed Epstein to build this insane web of power. So you're probably wondering, who exactly was caught in this web? The files name an absolutely staggering list of the world's most influential people, from politics to big tech to, yes, even royalty.
Yeah, let's start with 2 American presidents. First, Donald Trump. His name shows up over 4,500 times in these documents, and some of the allegations are wild, including one that he received a virgin girl as a gift. Then you have Bill Clinton. He's documented taking at least 26 separate trips on Epstein's private jet, the notorious Lolita Express. Now, it's important to note, both men have strongly denied everything. Trump's team calls the claims untrue and sensationalist, while Clinton's camp insists he had zero knowledge of any of Epstein's crimes. The tech world isn't left out of this, not by a long shot. Bill Gates, for instance, met with Epstein multiple times, and get this, after his 2008 conviction. There's even an unverified draft email from Epstein making some pretty scandalous claims about Gates. And then there's Elon Musk. Records show he exchanged at least 16 emails with Epstein, and in one, he actually asks, what day/night will be the wildest party on your island? Of course, both have issued strong denials. A rep for Gates called the allegations absurd and completely false, and Musk says he never actually went to the island and that a photo with Ghislaine Maxwell was just a photobomb.
And if you want to see the real-world consequences of all this, just look at Prince Andrew. His downfall has been absolutely swift and total. It really starts with that infamous photo back in 2001. That all led to a multi-million-pound lawsuit, which he settled in 2022, though he never admitted any guilt. But, the damage was done. The pressure just kept building until King Charles stripped him of his titles and his royal duties. It basically ended his public life as he knew it.
But look, Epstein's network wasn't just limited to the US and the UK. No, no. These new files show just how global his reach really was. We're seeing connections that stretch all the way to India, and they involve some of the country's most well-known names. Okay, so who are we talking about? Well, business magnate Anil Ambani shows up in messages asking Epstein for help with the White House. He's even called Modi's guy. Then there's Hardeep Singh Puri, who is now a government minister in India. He had at least 3 confirmed meetings at Epstein's mansion, and even Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while not in direct contact, is mentioned. Epstein boasts in an email that he gave Modi advice for a state visit. Now, for their part, the Indian Ministry of External Affairs has come out swinging. They have forcefully rejected all of this, calling the claims, and I'm quoting here, little more than trashy ruminations by a convicted criminal which deserve to be dismissed with the utmost contempt. They're basically saying that besides the PM's official visit, everything else is just made up. So, where does all of this leave us? I mean, the files that are out have revealed a truly shocking amount of information. But what's really terrifying is thinking about what might still be hidden. Believe me, this story is far from over, and there are some huge questions that still have no answers. Just to give you an idea of the scale we're dealing with, to date, 3.5 million pages of documents have been made public. That is just a mountain of evidence. Emails, flight logs, photos, testimonies, you name it. But here's the kicker. The Department of Justice originally identified almost 6 million pages of documents. You do the math? That means a staggering 40% of the files are still sealed, completely hidden from the public. So you have to ask, what names and what crimes could be in those remaining pages? And if that's not enough, there's the trail of mysterious deaths. Of course, you have Epstein himself, officially ruled a suicide in his jail cell in 2019, though plenty of people have their doubts. Then Jean-Luc Brunel, a key associate, a French modeling agent, he also allegedly committed suicide in a Paris jail in 2022. And then Virginia Giuffre, Prince Andrew's main accuser, was reportedly found dead in 2025, also ruled a suicide. You see this pattern of key people dying before they can tell their full story, and it makes you wonder if these were really suicides or something much, much darker. So we're left with one final and pretty haunting question. When you look at all the powerful names involved, all the documents that are still locked away, and all the key players who are now dead, you have to ask yourself, was Jeffrey Epstein's death really the end of the story? Or was it just the beginning of a massive cover-up?